in your opinion as a wrestler, in the United States, there's no union for pro wrestlers. Do you think it's time for there to be a union, and what's your opinion on that whole situation?
I'm definitely a fan of unions, provided that they're implemented properly. I definitely feel as though it's a fact that professional sports athletes in, say, football and basketball and the other avenues command a much higher percentage of the total revenue, so to speak, whereas it's very hard. I mean, that's an interesting political question. Could it be done right now? It'd be very hard, since that there's one major company that's paying the big money, and they basically get to set the standards of wages and work situations and that whole thing. So to start a union right now, and I know that WWF is very against any type of unionization, any type of collective bargaining type of situation. I would like to see it happen. There are so many people that you see that they get used, they get thrown away, and then some very sad situations. I mean, not discounting the fact that there are some people that don't save for the rainy day, so to speak, and squander what they've made. But the sad thing is, though, there are a lot of guys that really have given a lot of years of their time and stuff to a lot of fans, and have been used and made a lot of money, and right now have nothing to show for it. So I think that there's definitely a situation. The question is, it's been tried before. How do you implement it whenever you don't have competition amongst? I think it would have been an easier, feasible situation several years ago, whenever you did have the ECWs and the WCWs, and you had a little bit more strength, and there's more numbers. But right now, the industry, I think, is shrinking. There's not as many spots for people to be had and everything, and there are a lot of people up there just thankful to have a job. And I know that a lot of the wages have went down, and thing of it is there's no health care for pro wrestlers or whatever. I mean, the company will take care of you as far as if you get hurt on the job, help you rehab your knee or do something like that, let you see the doctor, but then after that they let you go. So, and that's kind of a little bit what happened to me in retrospect, after I'd hurt my knee, and got back for like 2 months, and then after that I was let it be known that we're not going to renew your contract, so to speak. But there's no bad animosity. It's business. There's a lot of things I know that went into the decision, and it's just I would like to see it happen, though. I think that there needs to be some sort of protections put in place. It's not to rake promoters over the coals, so to speak, or take advantage of any situation. But I think it would be good if there was some safety nets, or a little bit better standard of living, some things that were provided that's within reason. But like I say, it's been tried before, and usually those people that try it don't end up having a job for too long. So it's just one of those things to hope for, but it's kind of hard to say if it'll ever happen.
A smaller worker, or do you prefer wrestling the big guy? Or?
Well, the thing about a smaller worker is you have to be ready to have to try and keep up with a faster pace, and it sometimes wears you down as far as your conditioning goes. I like to work a lot more slower and methodical, and so the thing about a smaller worker, he's going to take a lot more big chances to try and knock you off your feet and get done what he wants to do. So it's with a bigger guy, it's easier to predict. He's going to come at you with what he has, and it's not a chess match, so to speak. You just know you're going to be in there for it, and but it's pretty much straightforward. Little guys are trying to pull out everything they can out of their repertoire, their arsenal, to try and catch you and try and sneak one over on you. So I have a little bit less to have to prepare for, but what I have to deal with, I'm going to have to be on top, and I'm going to have to be quicker. The situation where I'm used to being the guy that can get away with being the slower guy. So, but it'll be all right, I think. See what happens. That's why we go out there and do it.
Here's a controversial question now. Like in the wrestling business, and if you don't want to answer this,
No, it's fine.
like drugs, painkillers, pills, steroids, all these things have been predominantly associated with pro wrestling. In your opinion, like, is that trend continuing, or is it kind of pulling back now?
Well, that's hard to say in terms of, I haven't been up in the WWF locker room for quite a while, so I could not tell you exactly what the trend is there as far as use of those something like steroids. I mean, I would I would assume, I would guess, that there are still, that there are guys using things that are going to help them keep size on, because you have to understand that the situation they're put in is so competitive, and that they're looking for, be over their shoulder that somebody that might be built a little bit better than them or might be a little bit more ripped might take their spot, and it's, I feel as though that, they're put in a lot of situations to where, there's a lot of, I don't know if paranoia would be the best word to use, but there's that situation to where you feel as though you have to do everything you can to still keep that spot, still keep your spot on the roster, so to speak. As far as painkillers go, I could not condemn that one way or another, because, who's to say in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if I've had enough injuries that I wouldn't need something to kind of help me from not waking up in utter pain, whether my knees or my back, and those types of things, but, there are people, that you run into that they need that stuff to, maintain a normal existence and not live in pain. So who am I to say? It's just one of those things to, unfortunately, the business of pro wrestling is dangerous. Things do happen. It takes a toll on your body, and that, a lot of times you don't hear about the guy that, went off the top rope or something and broke his back, or, did something to fuse something in his neck, and then all of a sudden, this person's, are they going to be able to perform again, or that type of thing. There's real injuries that do take place and occur. And so, as far as that type of thing, I think that, as long as it's going to be a market that is shrinking and there's going to be less and less spots, I feel as though that there's going to be more and more guys trying to take advantage of anything that they can get their hands on to try and give them some sort of an edge. Fortunately, I've been in a situation to whereas in Japan, I've, they don't work the same way. My spot, I earned it, I've worked hard for it, and there's nobody that is really close to doing exactly what I do over there. So, it's not like I feel threatened or in any way, shape, or form. And, that the need over in the Japan pro wrestling emphasized a lot more on the fighting spirit, the heart. Whereas here in America, I think that it's a lot more what I call eye candy, to whereas, the company, the fans, they want to see someone who's rock hard and chiseled and looks as though, they're some kind of a Charles Atlas kind of thing. Over in Japan, the best fighters in the world, don't look like bodybuilders type of thing. I mean, that's the real truth of the matter. But over here in the United States, that they are sold that, that guys with the bigger muscles must be better fighters, or some kind of rationale of that nature, and that's not really the truth. If you look in the world of mixed martial arts and stuff, some of the best, the best guys in the world that you would consider, whether K1 or kickboxing or MMA rules or whatever, a lot of them don't look much different than an average guy off the street. But it has a lot to do more with technique and training. Whereas in the United States, that the emphasis always is bigger and bigger is better, So you get guys figuring, well, if they feel as though they need to put 20 pounds of muscle on to compete, well, chances are they might do that, to have the ability to live their dream. And whether they do that or not, who am I to say? I mean, it's not Olympic competition to whereas they're gaining any advantage as far as their time in the 100 meters or whatever like that, and so if that's what they need to do to to make it, to get by, I guess that's their business. Fortunate that I haven't had to do that though.
What are your aspirations or dreams still in the wrestling industry? What do you want to accomplish?
Well, I think that there has to come a time in your life to where you can be content. I've had a very good run with 0-1. I've worked there for going on 3 years straight. I'd been over there for almost every month. I had been over there almost every month until I signed my deal with K1, and I had to start focusing on the mixed martial arts training. So what else is there to do? I think it's to be happy that every day God gives you the opportunity to get up and do this, to go out there and express yourself, to meet people. In Japan, I get to impact people's lives, and get to do charitable type things to where, you mean a lot of things to handicapped children, those types of things that you wouldn't really think, but I get to do those sorts of things. And there's a lot of fulfillment in that. If my chance comes with WWF and that's somewhere in the future, or if it's not, that's fine, So I think that, as far as, is my dream ever to be in a WrestleMania? Well, that would be great, but I think that that's something to where is, that decision's really out of my hands for the most part, whether or not I could get with WWE, former WWF, and be popular and get over and make my way up through the card and the ranks and get a spot to do something. That would be a dream come true. But I'm blessed. I'm doing well. I've had a lot of things happen, and it's one of those things where I don't go to sleep worrying or not if I'm going to make it to this point or that point or whatever like that. Every day's another day, and you just go up. And I feel as though if you give it your best, and you're open to what God has for your life, then it's going to work out. I think it's just a matter of trusting that the right things will happen. If you do good things, and I think you do good things for people. You're friendly, you're professional, you do the best job you can, then it comes back to you, And so that's where I just have to really leave it at the doorstep, If I can go for mixed martial arts and train as hard as I can, and if I go in there win or lose, I got to be happy with the fact that I had the opportunity to go in there and to make some money and to have an opportunity to do what I've trained to do. So many people don't even have that opportunity, so just have to be thankful. And that's really how I look at it every day.